we need to get that into, because also you notice I put a note on there that this is one of the missing things from the GIS Innovate system that we know we need to update and correct, that all occupied, reserved, and vacant ERs are properly shown per account in that. So it kind of will have a dual purpose when we get it done. But what I need to move forward here is to have that available on these accounts. And right now it's just the 23 to 25 accounts that we need to address, so that when we go hand them this sheet that says you are now using 20.8 ERs, that we know we have this available, or of those, so many are occupied, so many are vacant, so many reserved, or as far as we know, you don't have them. So we need that to move ahead.
Okay, so actually, can I change the date of a Tuesday to a Thursday? That way, possibly Clint can be involved in these things too, so all three of us. So that way, that can be Clint's Good Thursday project. We'll utilize Jan's Excel spreadsheet and start getting, I just want to make sure we can all look at the document, and I want to make sure that the work that Clint and I will be doing is the exact information that you want. So you can pop in and say, okay, this is what I'd like to see in it. We'll add those columns in, and then Clint and I can just start chugging away on that one, knocking out times on Thursdays.
Yeah, I'm totally want it to fit your schedule. So however you guys can work it out.
Does that work for you, Clint?
This coming Thursday, I have school stuff I have to do for my kids from 11 to 1.
Okay, I can get it going. I'll get it going on this Friday, and then just on your available Thursdays and other times that you're in the office, you can take over those chunks. And then maybe we can also get a database of sorts from El Dorado and figure out how we can pass a chunk of that off to Sean.
Okay, I appreciate that. Whatever we can do to get the resource on it. That's all I want to do is make sure we have the resources. We can get extra resource. Just going to make it easier for everybody.
Yeah, there's got to be a report that we can print off, and that would be useful.
Are we trying? So are we still? I guess my question is wondering the confirmation of the correctness of that document, and if that is the question that is being asked, of the completeness to what we have as paper records to this digital record that then can be flushed into future endeavors of reserved, what's in use, and that type of thing. I wouldn't think that would take that long unless you have to dig around for finding documents.
Now, any addendum that we have to what Jan has produced, can we take it and adapt it to the Excel program?
Well, yeah, I think we would take the Excel version of the ER book that she said and just add in columns that we need, that we find pertinent to make it the useful document to do this.
We'll make documents off of what we have.
And last question, because we don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but so there's the question I have of, are we trying to see the numbers and the data individually on the document, or are we trying to get the document to tell a story? Because if we're still trying to flush the individual items in there to tell the story, and we're not, or are we just trying to arrange it so the story is told and how we can see it, we can read the story, if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it would ultimately and then be something that we regulate on or update on a regular basis. Every time a new connection comes in, then we go to that master spreadsheet and update that information in it.
And if it's complete right now, we're just wanting to have the highlights and stuff like that.
To get it into the right place, it's complete, but it is not in the system that they needed.
Yeah, it's complete from the original 1993 version. We need to just include the.
Yeah. Do we have an Excel program that'll open a 1993 Excel document?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I think we have a plan to go ahead and tackle this, and Jesse, you'll be in touch with Sean then and make sure that he is aware of the dates that you guys are gonna come in and start this. Do you want him in here Friday?
That's tomorrow.
I wonder if I can do that.
Is all the end of fiscal year stuff done?
It is. Yep, I can do tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Sean?
Is it afternoon or before?
Although I don't know if Clint, how much time do you have after the meeting today, Clint?
Probably like 2-3 hours, maybe.
Okay, we'll poke around and figure out how we can get a report to get that information so that maybe there's something I can send over to Sean and he can get up on his computer and we'll dual computer usage, so we're not both just sitting at one computer. Let me poke around on the reports today and I'll follow up in an email with you, Sean, about getting together tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good.
If not tomorrow, I'll at least get back to you today with the date that we can.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that's good, and that actually, I mean, that was our biggest issue to decide how to resolve, so.
Before you move on, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can. You drove all your way from Sandpoint, you can sure ask a question.
That's a nice calm drive, so. Do we know how many hookups each of these customers is supposed to have?
Yes.
Do we know how many we're billing them for now?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems like the biggest part of the equation, and a lot of the rest of it's gonna be field work.
Exactly.
But actually there. Okay, I just didn't want to make sure we're missing something.
Yes.
And we can do that. You can, what they're supposed to have, what they're being billed for now, and what they should have. We should be able to develop a sheet that Jesse or somebody can just plug into the computer. This is where it should, this is where we need to go, or where it should be.
Yeah, I'll just give you.
After the board decides that they're gonna go that way.
Yeah, this is,
I think it'll make it easier on everybody.
do you want to put this up there on there, or, no, that's all right. Here, I'll just, this is what we've done. So it's exactly what you say, show.
For this
what we
account.
have. Yeah, and we've got that for each account. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Bob and I, the other Bob and I, can work with whoever to see what's actually out there.
Right.
Right.
And it's not just what's actually being used now, but the potential stuff
Yep.
for other additional hookups.
Yeah, we've already run into that with the first account that we did.
And then after sending letters to see what comes back with what they're claiming they
Yes.
have.
Okay.
So once we have this information that they're going to be working on to provide, our next step is for the accounts that have sufficient ERs available, we're preparing the notice letter to be sent to the account holders with the individual recap sheet, what I just showed you, which just shows this is the number of ERs that we show as occupied, this is the billing that we're sending to you every month. Then we, per change, indicate each change that just is identified and set on a schedule that we now show this is what you should be paying for. This is your adjusted ERs. Advise them that as of, and we gotta, get that straight with Caitlin, whether we give 30 days, 45-day notice, but basically, whatever time frame we decide as of that date, unless we hear from you otherwise, we will bill you for this number of ERs.
Now does that include their, what, the ERs that they have on reserve?
Yes, at this point, all we have is what is occupied and what they're using. If they have reserved ERs and they want to use those, then that will be fine. On the accounts I'm talking about now with insufficient ERs available, I'm talking about the ones where our records are gonna show they don't have reserved ERs to cover them.
Well, that would be my question is what's the definition of somebody who has sufficient ERs and somebody who has insufficient ERs?
Okay, it would be the combination of their occupied, vacant, and reserved.
Okay. That's known, being paid, they're currently being billed appropriately. That word sufficient means everything is copacetic and there's no changes.
They have an ER for every unit that they're using, and you can account for it.
Right, so if we say, I'm just gonna.
I'm trying not to say any names or businesses or anything like
Yeah,
that.
and that's all right.
It's not personal.
No,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to just rattle one off and then.
Okay, here's one, and I'm not gonna give you the name, but this is our sheet for it. The current ERs occupied is 11. Their current monthly billing at $26 per month per ER is $286. Their adjusted occupied ER accounts, we need to add 2.5 ERs to them. So, I'm sorry, we need to add 20.7 on this account.
20 points.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they would be an insufficient
Well,
available.
let me finish this,
Okay,
okay?
sorry.
So we're billing them for 11. Our new count shows that we should be billing them for 20.7. So it's an adjusted monthly billing increase of $252.20. So their monthly bill is going to go from $286 to $538.20. So the question here is, when Jesse looks at their spreadsheet from the ER book, does this account have 20.7 ERs available? If they do not, then they will be in this latter category that Ted and I were just talking about, that we need to deal with how the ERs are going to be covered.
So, in other words, item 2 is going to determine if they fall in sufficient or insufficient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little
And
slow.
I put on here, Jesse, I'm still not sure, and this is something you guys need to work out. When they give us, and most of the ones we're dealing with are the marina accounts, where they have a whole bunch of different business entities and they have been transferring them among them. We want to make sure that we get the information you need. So when they say, okay, we're going to transfer so many from such and such, that they give you either the parcel number, the tax ID number, or whatever it is that you really want to track underneath. So that
Yeah,
we're
and
getting
that's
it right.
what my original worksheet did, is it gives the parcel number and then tracks it back to which LID number that was too.
Okay, good. Okay.